Yo, it's Friday night. We're back at it here on Weekend at Gabe's. Hang on, let me close our studio door. Yo, it's Friday night here in the beautiful city of Chicago. We got a great show lined up here on Weekend at Gabe's. Joining us in about 9 minutes, Elliott Serrano, the Chicago geek, city geek, whose nerdom and pop culture information and wisdom is unmessable with. He's going to be joining us to talk about the return of Zack Snyder, who is getting ready to release Justice League, the Snyder Cut, in a matter of weeks. And also, he has the Army of Darkness film on Netflix coming out very soon. I thought it was going to drop today, but I guess it didn't. And then coming up at 8:35-ish, we're going to be having the Triibe's writers and producers, Rome J. Why can't I find... and Tonia Hill are going to be joining us. There's a piece that they wrote back at the end of January that I think it's worth mentioning and bringing up again about artists who submit for these contests that they see on blog sites and radio sites.
Money.
Is it beneficial to do that, to get something? But what are you trading in? What rights are you trading away by submitting to that? We're going to get into that conversation in just a bit. But joining me now, producer of Weekend at Gabe's, the real Sam Crane.
Let's go. Sorry. I had my hood up. I was vibing. You had the instrumental on. I was having a real good time. How's everybody doing? It's good to be back. I'm really excited for the conversations today, man.
Damn it. You know what? I forgot to get my mic.
Oh, man.
My mic in here?
I'm going to have to entertain the people. Don't let me entertain the people. Don't let me in the
go. Hang on. Let me plug in.
Oh, he's plugging in. Well, everybody, my name is the real Sam Crane, a.k.a. OP Saviel. You can follow me on all social media platforms at OP_Saviel. While Weekend Gabe sets up his mic, I'm going to plug my mix. Wednesday mixes coming out every week on audius.co and also SoundCloud if you're still a SoundCloud dinosaur. Check them things out. The hottest emerging hip-hop and pop music from around the city. That's what we do. I'm not a real cool DJ like Weekend Gabe, but I'm an emerging cool DJ like the real Sam Crane. So that's what it is.
You are a real DJ. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Damn, I'm a real DJ, bro. That means a lot.
I don't know. I mean, you're doing mix shows and all that.
I'm trying my best, man. I don't have the deck or whatever yet. That's the
neither.
But you used to have at least a mixer, you know what I mean? Like
I'm back in the studio, yeah.
When you was at the studio, like
yeah, we got people in the chat space holding us down.
Woohoo!
Shout out for rocking with us. We got a big show tonight. Hopefully everyone's locked in. Let's get into news only Gabe cares about. Today we saw the announcement that Johnson & Johnson, they're going to be putting out the one-shot vaccine that has like 85% it fights against 85% of all serious diseases. So, which is going to be a huge game changer. There's going to be I think they already have 4 million vaccines lined up, and they can get up to 100 million once Biden enforces the National Distribution Act and puts that in place. We're definitely going to get some more Johnson & Johnson shotters out there. So it's going to be game changing. So summer and August is going to be looking real normal. Let me just tell you, there's already talk about people coming back into these ballparks. So I'm gassed because my White Sox are going to be rocking this summer. So I need to be out there. So I already got one of 2 vaccine shots this Sunday. I go back in about 3 weeks. So I'm going to be bulletproof out here in these streets. So all y'all folks need to get right.
See, meanwhile, motherfuckers like me are out here raw dog in reality. Like,
homie.
I know. I got a K95 mask. This is about as good as it gets. You know what I'm saying?
I know. You could do better. Well, they're gonna. The news today.
50%, 20%, 15%. I do not give a crap because right now I'm rocking on 0 whole percent.
Your youth is protecting you right now, and hopefully you're eating your vitamins and eating
anybody. Youth is protecting me. I don't see anybody.
So check it out. Today, I think today it was announced that the United Center is going to be converted into a COVID vaccine distribution site. So it's looking really good right now for the city. I just need the summer to be the summer again. If we can all interact and mingle with each other, still with masks, that's not going away. But if we can mingle with the mask and still be kind of normal around each other and not have to worry about dying, I'd be a happier person. I'm just saying.
I'd like to see you, bro, because like I said, I haven't seen anyone. Not a single soul, bro. It felt like 2021 kicked off, and I haven't seen a single. It's just me and Spock. It's literally just me and Spock.
Well, things are looking up. Definitely, things are starting to look up. What else happened in the news today? We found out that Superman is going to come back to the Silver Pictures. So Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to be writing the script, and J.J. Abrams is going to be directing the new Superman film for DC.
I'm going to say if anybody can find a way to make the invulnerability that is Superman vulnerable, is Ta-Nehisi Coates, man. And that's the key, I think. To make Superman interesting, you have to make Superman vulnerable in a way that's not, I got some kryptonite on me.
A lot of conversation on these social medias today is that should they make Superman black? There's a lot of conversations around that. So we're gonna get into that with Elliott Serrano, who's on deck. So I know he's checking us out right now. So I'm sure he has some thoughts about this as he's vibing in the back in our virtual green space. In
the virtual green room. I love the virtual green room. There's no snacks in there though.
All right. So other news that happened today, it looks like the $1.9 trillion package that the House, led by the Democrats, are cooking up to get rammed through the Senate to President Biden's desk is one step closer. Okay. How eager are you to getting another U.S. stimmy?
That'd be nice. I haven't gotten any of the stimmies yet. My taxes.
Wait, what do you mean you haven't got a stimmy?
I made an error on my taxes last year. I don't want to get into it. I made an error on my taxes last year. I didn't get the stimmies, but luckily Joey B had did you miss the stimmies? You could get some stimmies on the taxes this year. So I filed early. My stimmies that I should have got are supposed to come on March 1st. So I'm excited for that. And if those bust down, I'm super excited to get another one. That sounds amazing.
Wait, so the 1,200 stimmy and the half stimmy, you're gonna get those on your taxes this year.
Yes.
So 1,800.
1,800.
So I know who's gonna be putting in the production elements for this show this summer.
Hey man, I got a whole nother desk to buy. I got a microphone to buy. I have one. I just need a nicer one. I got things to buy, man. I got a whole capture card. Twitch is really going through the roof, man. This is the platform of the future.
All I'm saying is that Weekend at Gabe's now has a budget because of the real Sam Crane. That's all I know. That's what I heard.
That's what I'm here for. Here for.
I'm eager to get this stimmy off the ground in my pocket because last I heard, I haven't checked up on this. It was $3,400 per child that they were going to get out and put it into the bill. So I got two children.
Who got the budget?
Exactly, but they're gonna split it up. So you're not getting 3,400 right out the gate. They're it's supposed to be like 400. I don't know for how long. Okay. Yeah, so people don't fuck it off. So that's kind of fun. So I'm not mad with that idea.
Right, yeah, that's not the worst thing in the world.
No, not at all. So, all right, let's segue into our next guest. He needs no introduction. He is the king of all things pop culture and comic book related. He is the man of all mans. It is a pleasure to introduce Elliott Serrano to Weekend at Gabe's for the first time. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm good, man. We've been social media friends for so long, and this is our first intro. So I'm so glad that you're eager to join us here on the show.
I'm a vampire. I'll go anywhere, but you got to invite me.
I didn't know if that Chicago Tribune badge made you untouchable. So
yeah,
I was where you're reaching out.
It's not that Chicago Tribune badge ain't worth what it used to be. Now the hedge fund guys are driving it into the ground.
Oh my God, yeah.
There was a time I would have been like, really? But now I'm like,
Which do you not?
I mean,
see who
I showed
work
up. I showed up for the snacks. I get here, there are no snacks.
There's not a single snack in the green room. What's going on?
No snacks in the green room.
What's going on?
Listen,
What am I
Well,
back
now
on
we have
WGN
the
TV?
Yeah, now we have the budget. Don't worry.
Sam Crane's stimmies haven't hit yet, so we're waiting for that to get the budget up and going.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
All right.
it's coming. We'll have you back in the summer, and it'll be a lot different. I promise you.
You got to get on. You got to get on Brad's deals. Whenever they do you can get the 40-pack of Cheetos for like $12. You know.
Oh, that's a vibe. That's
Get
a
on
vibe.
that.
I need that in my life.
Yeah.
110%.
We'll have to figure out a way to get those snacks to the guests before the show, so then you can be serviced
We should
appropriately.
start shipping people boxes, Gabe. You know what? I'm gonna talk to you, man. I got ideas.
Listen, you do our procurement, so you can work on that. I'm good. You can manage that. I'm good.
I'm doing a lot. Let me sign a contract. I'm gonna take all your money for the rest of your life.
It's your budget. It's your budget. Pay yourself whatever you want. You're good. But we have Elliott Serrano here on Weekend at Gabe's. Thank you for joining us. There's a lot to get into. We hinted in the news that Gabe only cares about the new news that Superman is coming back to the big screen with Tonia Coates as the script writer and J.J. Abrams as the director.
He's producing.
He's not directing.
He's not
I thought I read earlier this morning that he was on to direct, but
he's producing. It's going to be a Bad Robot production, but yeah, he's just producing.
Hey, that's good. I like that.
I still have animosity in my heart for J.J. Abrams, so I'm not really sure how I feel about this. But
too much lens flare for you? I mean, dude, you've literally got lens flare over your head.
I was not about to say that, but thank you for saying that.
You are literally you look like a J.J. Abrams production right now as I'm looking at you.
Listen, I don't invite guests to bully me, so we don't have to play those games.
I love it here. This is my favorite interview yet. This is
I get ornery when I don't get my snacks, man. You set yourself up for that.
Well, so what was your reaction to that news this morning?
I'm cool. I mean, they announced the production. You know how many times they've made announcements that so and so is writing and so is attached. I mean, I don't get excited until they say it's in production, like day one of filming. You know, they've started it. I'm like that way. I got taught that by the Indiana Jones movies, because you know how long it took for them to finally do like Indiana Jones 4, and it waited and it wasn't until San Diego Comic-Con when Steven Spielberg made that announcement. We have been in front of the camera. We finished like the first week of production. I was like, finally, now I know a new indie movie's coming along. And it's not the first time that J.J. Abrams has had his name attached to Superman. You read that script that came out a few years back, or more than a few years back, that he had written when he was supposed to take over Superman. This was before Bryan Singer did it.
I definitely heard of this script. I don't think I read it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's and it when you read it, if you read it, I'd say check it out. There's a lot of stuff that was in that script that pissed people off that later turned up in Superman Earth 1, the J. Michael Straczynski, and some other things that DC Comics did with the Superman property. So now it's like, oh, okay. And there's even stuff that I even thought about that script when I saw the premiere of Superman and Lois. It just happened on the CW this week. And there's a bit that happens at the very end that made me think, oh, that's J.J. Abrams' first thought of that in his treatment or his script. So yeah, so it's not the first time, and I'll wait when they actually say they've got a director, when they cast somebody, and so on. Fine. I will say this though, and this is me, and maybe I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. Okay, well, I'm just going to put this out there. I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm also actually a tad offended for Mr. Coates that because he's writing it, everyone's assuming they're going to cast the Black Superman. Why is it just because he's black, he's automatically going to write for Black Superman? I mean, he's been writing Captain America, and Steve Rogers is as white as they come, you know?
Right.
So why all of a sudden, because we have a black screenwriter attached to it, we're going to say, oh, it's because they're going to have Michael B. Jordan play Superman? Since when? What? I don't know. If it was a white screenwriter doing Black Panther, would we be talking about them recasting Black Panther as a white guy?
Here's what I gotta say. Here's what I gotta say about Michael B. Jordan playing Superman, and it's very simple. He's not tall enough. He's not tall enough.
You can put lifts. You can put lifts like they do with Tyler Hoechlin. Tyler Hoechlin's got lifts.
Henry Cavill, when you stand next to him, I imagine that he would be taller than me. I don't know if that's true. I haven't looked up anything in fact, but I just would imagine that he'd be taller than me. Michael B. Jordan, I'm sure I'm taller than him. I'm sure Michael B. Jordan would fit nicely under my chin. That's not where Superman should fit.
It's supposed to be a titan, yeah. I don't know.
That's an image I got. I got that image stuck in my head now. I have a picture of you with your arms around Michael B. Jordan and his head just right under your chin.
It'll be all right, buddy. It's going to be okay. You're not going to get Superman this time around, but you'll get a lot of other good stuff. I promise.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. So if you decide, okay, and again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm not saying that they shouldn't recast Superman as like a black person. Although I say go all in on, if you're going to go with Superman as an immigrant and like the failed messiah, which is what everyone calls Superman, I say cast him either as a Hispanic or as a Middle Eastern person. Just get him to do that. Go all in. But the moment you take Superman and you change the color of his skin, you've changed a whole lot about that character. I mean, because unless you want to say that John and Martha Kent were black sharecroppers in Smallville back in that time, and they just
would be a fire alternate timeline though. I
there
you go. Show.
Right, and that's the other thing too with DC. They're doing they're doing all these things where they're bringing back the Michael Keaton as Batman, even though Batfleck is still going to be around and So anyone's going to look at that and go, "Oh, alternate universe Superman." Not hashtag not my Superman.
Oh,
you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that.
You're right. That's an obvious joke, and we should prepare for that.
I think that's a great segue into DC as a whole and Zack Snyder's return. Right, that some of the critique has been that DC doesn't really take a lot of challenges. That they don't really push the envelope the same way that, unfortunately, they're compared to their counterparts over at Marvel. And so with Zack Snyder returning back into the fold of trying to, and Sam made a great point about this, about remarketing a film that we've already seen, doesn't it feel like Zack Snyder and DC are kind of like backwards hustling? It's like you're not really moving the brand forward. Instead, you're trying to rewrite history a little bit, and isn't that like a form of stagnation for everyone?
Is that a rhetorical question? What?
Fair enough.
Well, I read that. You read the Vanity Fair article, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, where they talk about why Zack Snyder's doing it and so on. I mean, the way I look at it, HBO Max are like, we need content. We need stuff to get people to look at this channel. So hey, let's get Zack Snyder and let's put the Snyder cut, because the guy made the movie and it's sitting on a hard drive on his computer, and let's get him to do it and we'll throw it on HBO. And then they come out and go, oh shit, that movie, that thing really wasn't finished. You really need like a whole lot of post-production and shit. And then they're like, well, we already announced it. Might as well do it, and get it out there. And when they already came out and said that was it for him, like, yeah, we're gonna do the Snyder cut, but there will be no more Zack Snyder in the DC universe. Like, oh, that's like I don't know. That's like when you're breaking up with someone and you get together one last time. Like, okay, can I have my CDs back? Here's your sweater. Can we just straighten this all out before we never see each other again? That's kind of what it is. But for all I know, it's going to be a great movie, because Man of Steel was so awesome, and Batman versus Superman just moved the earth and stopped time. Not
No.
I'll never understand. I mean, don't get me wrong. Zack Snyder, as a person, sounds like a great guy. Sounds like someone I'd want to hang out with. He's like a great dude. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about Zack Snyder, the person. Dude, I'm sure he's a great dude. Zack Snyder, the director, all the dude does is copy like everybody else's shots, you know? Like when I saw Man of Steel, I'm there going, oh, yeah, that's Alex Ross. Oh, yeah, that's, you know, he was like aping everybody else's shots from comic books that I remember reading and going, oh, he's making it live action, right? When I read what Batman versus Superman, he was aping so many shots from Dark Knight Returns, you know? So like, okay, great. You know how to copy somebody else's style. Good for you. You've got a great DP, you know? All right.
And I mean, that was the same thing with The Watchmen. It was like completely like this, like a live version of the comic book. There wasn't, I didn't feel like there was any signature stamp on it that he put that made it its own.
Until he decides to change the ending, and then that made no sense. I remember when I went to see Watchmen, because remember, before Watchmen came out, the studios were so sure that thing was going to be a huge blockbuster. There was that big fight between Warner Brothers and the other distributors over who was going to be able to get the credit as a distributor and who was going to get the major box office. I mean, they saw it. They thought this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And there was that big legal fight until finally, like, we're talking like the week before the date it was supposed to premiere, they finally straightened things out in court. So I remember going to the theater thinking, oh, shit, this is going to be the bomb because all these megacorps are fighting over it. This is going to be the greatest movie I've ever seen. And the first 15 minutes of Watchmen are brilliant. I remember watching it going, oh, this shit is awesome. And then, like every Zack Snyder movie I've ever seen, first 15 minutes, pull me in. It's like watching a Zack Snyder movie gives me empathy for all the women who've ever dated me. Get pulled in, then you see what it's really about. You're like, oh, shit, get me out of here. Get me out of here. No, this is not, no. So I was like, that was what happened with every Zack, with the exception of 300.
Yeah, 300 might be the lone exception.
Yeah,
you know?
but Watchmen, great. He was brilliant the way he was. You know, he set the whole thing up. He condensed like 3 issues worth of stuff into a credit sequence. I thought that was brilliant. But then he changes the entire ending. You know, with getting rid of the squid, which is the only thing that the story that part of the story that makes sense. And then you go, well, he's going, well, though, that wouldn't have worked. You can't make it work in a movie. And then HBO comes along and actually makes it work in the television miniseries.
Yeah.
So yeah, to think that Zack Snyder is going to be the guy who's going to take the material to the next level. I've had plenty of chances to realize that's just not the case.
I fully agree with that. And I like that you brought up that the HBO show really went on a limb because I feel like Zack Snyder reading the script, and like you said, I don't know who Zack Snyder is, but I feel like he's reading the script. He's like, giant squid, nah, I can't do that. I mean, I gotta put my foot down somewhere here, you know, like, and that's not what you gotta. That's not the attitude you have to have coming into making a comic book movie. I feel, you know, in general.
Watchmen, Zack Snyder has all sorts of issues with the endings to his movies. Watchmen gets rid of the squid, says that the reason all that shit happened is because of Dr. Manhattan, which Dr. Manhattan can himself say bullshit, but I don't care, so I take off anyway, right? Let's watch it. Man of Steel, okay? What happens at the end? Superman has to kill Zod because Zod is going to kill some innocent bystanders with his heat vision because Superman can't doesn't have the strength to turn Zod's head somewhere else or put his hands over his eyes so that he doesn't kill anybody, or better yet, just cover him and then like zip the mofo up into outer space where he can't hurt anybody. Fine, that's Man of Steel. Then Batman versus Superman. Can I swear? Is this
no,
yeah, cool.
We have no FCC. We're good.
All right. Motherfucking Martha. Seriously? Martha is the linchpin of the end of that movie. Your mother's name is Martha? My Why did you say that, Dad?
That is
Why?
cringeworthy every time. Every time, it's cringeworthy.
I go every end. He figures out a way to screw the ending of what could have been a great story.
So here was my big question, Elliott, was that I mean, to get back to Superman here, we were talking about a new Superman. To me as a fan, Superman is almost the least interesting superhero to see on the big screen because he's so invulnerable as a character. And I feel like a huge obstacle of making a Superman movie is to make him vulnerable in a believable way, because it's absolutely seems like every situation is exactly what you described. Like, he could put his hands over his eyes. He's effing Superman. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? So how do you make Superman vulnerable in a believable way?
What do you think about Captain America?
I mean, I'll admit that I'm not a huge Marvel nerd. I'm more of a Batman guy myself. So I don't have much comic book material to lie back on.
How about the movies, the Marvel movies?
Yeah, in the movies, I'm not a Captain America fan. For almost the same reason, and also because he's pretentious about it.
You're one of those. So, how do you feel about Jesus? Yeah, Jesus was pretentious to you too. All that power and shit going around helping people. That bothered you, huh?
We don't have to get into religion here, but I could go into some Jesus things that Jesus did. Maybe Jesus didn't do them, but we're certainly done in Jesus' name.
You're like a Homer Simpson. Maybe if Jesus had some better arch support, they wouldn't have caught him.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
But to your point, I will say that is the one thing. Yeah,
Jesus has the ultimate vulnerability. By the way, he died.
Yes, he was ultimately vulnerable. Invulnerability. Yeah, you can't kill the guy, right? But to me, to your point, you're right. It's how do you make a character like Superman who is utterly alien and has all these powers? Like, if I had all of Superman's powers, okay, think of it. If you had all of Superman's powers, do you think you wouldn't have problems?
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me if you could fly,
because Superman is not Peter Parker to me. You know, Peter Parker still has to pay the rent. Superman doesn't have to pay the fucking
rent. Exactly. So does Clark Kent. Clark Kent still has to pay the rent. You know, he still has to. What? He's going to fly around the. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. To make money, I'm going to fly to Paris and like play saxophone in front of the Eiffel Tower. I don't know.
No, I'll go back in time to before the rent is due, because I forgot to do that, and then do that. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna fly back in time, invest in Apple, then have that pay off. Right. To me, but to the point where, and you said it yourself with Peter Parker, you have to have an aspect of that character that people relate to, and I think the Superman gets so played up, people always forget about Clark Kent. And this is me, and I have had this argument with actual Superman writers, folks who have written him for DC Comics. I have writer friends, folks who work for DC, who work for Marvel and all that. And I have this argument. They say that Superman is the real guy, the real dude, and Clark Kent is the mask. Clark Kent is the alter ego. To which I always say, I call bullshit. I call bullshit to that, because he was raised as Clark Kent. That's how he was raised.
Yeah.
His whole life. That's who he wanted.
Yeah.
That's who he was essentially. And then the Superman is him being able to take these powers that he has and use them in a way to protect the Clark character, not the other way around.
That's my favorite point ever. I'm on board. I'm 100% on board. That was awesome.
I'm there going, if he is Clark to me, I always whenever I think of Superman, I refer to him as Clark in my head. Oh, it's Clark Kent. You know, he's always been the one that I relate to more than the Superman character. It's like with Peter Parker. I grew up thinking, oh, I'm Peter Parker. That's me. You know, nerdy kid, not real popular, didn't know how to talk to girls. Right.
Surprised.
And I'm like, okay, but the Spider-Man persona, why I love Spider-Man and that influenced me a lot, is the moment he takes on that persona, he's real confident. He makes jokes. He does that whole thing, you can't shut him up, you know. And they're going, holy shit, that's me, So when you can get aspects of those characters and play those characters up, that's what makes it more interesting. So to the effect of how do you make Superman, as you said, vulnerable? You give him everyday problems that you can't solve by punching them, or you can't, I did that once. I had pitched to DC Comics, the very first comic book story that I'd ever pitched to a major publisher was a Superman story to DC, and it was my first pitch, and they liked it. The editor loved it. He said, "We're going to do it. We're going to do it." Unfortunately, the title I was pitching for ended up getting canceled, so the story never happened. But it was an idea, and after that, it was like I kept coming up with stories. What makes Superman? What makes him relatable? So I don't want to tell you the idea that I like, but I'll tell you a different idea. What is it? What is the thing? What if you were Superman, but you were just having the shittiest day ever? Like everything that could go wrong for you was going wrong. Like your Clark Kent, you're sitting at your desk, your pen explodes and gets you got ink all over your jacket. You go to
the S under your shirt.
Yeah, all right. You go to get Lois a snack at the machine, and you're putting in that dollar, and even though it's a perfectly flat dollar bill, the machine won't take it. It keeps coming out, and everything that can go wrong, every shitty, inconvenient thing that can go wrong, happens to you, and you're Superman. How do you deal with it? Because there's certain things you just can't. You can't punch those problems. Superpowers aren't going to fix them. Yeah. So, and then as you're watching Superman go through it, you're like, oh, okay, I get that. That shit happens to me. It can happen to him, and we both probably deal with it the same way. That makes him relatable.
Absolutely.
All right, before we let you go, we skipped over everything I had planned to talk about, but that's fine.
Sorry, I talked too much. I put on my Spider-Man mask, and you couldn't shut me up.
What is your the Justice League 4-hour film? Quickly, what is your expectation? Do you think that the film itself obviously is not great. Do you think that this Snyder cut is going to make it enjoyable, or is it just like, something to watch until the world returns?
I don't know. I mean, I want to be forgiving. I'm going to hope that it's really good. But all I know is that so far, Darkseid and Steppenwolf still look like video game characters.
Yeah, they look pretty shitty.
It's not great CGI. That is just not great. I mean, if it looks like something from the Injustice game, then you're not, you haven't done it yet. So as far as the story itself, this is what I expect from Justice League Snyder Cut. It's going to be an incredible opening. The movie's going to pull you in. Half in the middle, you're going to be involved with the characters and everything. And in the final act, some stupid shit's going to happen. And you're going to be like, why the fuck did I spend 4 hours of my day watching?
Well, that would be on par to what we've expected from society.
Yeah, that would be on brand. Is what it
would we be disappointed?
That'll be my tag for the poster when it's released. It'll be my review of Justice League. Zack Snyder's a good dude, though.
The Vanity Fair article points that out, and we have no problem with his actual personal self, and he seems like a very, loving husband and father, and that's fantastic. We need more people like that. However, he should not be in control over a major comic book dynasty.
I don't know, man. I don't want to burn any bridges. Zack Snyder, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show, man. We can talk about it.
Dude, you're a good dude. We think you're a good dude. I think you're a good dude.
I think everybody's a good dude.
And the Russo brothers, the DC should give the Russo brothers a truckload of money to get them to come over to do stuff.
Oh, well, that didn't work out with Josh Whedon when they tried to do that. So let's not.
Different. That's
of course, it's always different when it doesn't work out, right?
That's what all my dates say, man. That's what all my dates say.
Listen, I wish you a great weekend. I wish that all your Mac game will pick you up something online this weekend, so you won't be alone, and someone will see past the first 15 minutes of your conversation to something more enjoyable. So I wish you all the best in your future dating endeavors, Elliott.
Just like the show, I'm only good for 15 minutes, man.
Listen, man. Hey,
I
let
love
me tell
it.
you.
You've been my favorite guest, man. You've been my
Let me tell you. To start a family, that's all you really need. I'm just saying.
I need 6.
That is brutal. I will pray for you. All right, Elliott Serrano. Hey, tell people where they can find you on these social medias and you're out here in these internet streets.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Elliott Serrano. That's with 2 L's, 2 T's, and 2 R's. Same as on Instagram. You want to find me on Facebook. Facebook King of Geeks Chicago, and if you're nice to me, I might let you friend me on my personal page. But King of Geeks Chicago is where you can find me.
All right, fantastic, man. Please be safe out here, man. We'd love to have you back. Maybe when the summer films start kicking in, we'll have you back to talk some more.
Hell yeah.
I don't have COVID by then, but yeah, all right.
Man, go get your shot, man. Get your shots.
I need it, and I they don't want to give it to me, man. I'm begging, but they're saying no. You're not.
Get your shot and shoot more shots on these internets. That's all I got to say.
Yes.
15 minutes.
All right. Elliott, guys. Weekend at Games. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace, buddy.
All right. Elliott Serrano, fantastic guest joining us here on Weekend at Games. Man, I'm looking forward to this Justice League remake, even though
it's so nice to talk nerd with people. It's good to be among nerds.
Absolutely.
It's always a good idea.
Oh, absolutely. Joining us next here on Weekend at Games from the Triibe, Tonia Hill. She wrote, helped co-wrote the article "Chicago Hip Hop Blogs Launched in the Artist Contest." But is there more to them than meets the eye? Good evening. Welcome to the show, Weekend at Games.
Hi, how are you guys?
Pleasure for you to join us. Don't listen to anything Elliott had to say about 15 minutes. That we aspire to be better on this show. I'm just saying. But thank you for joining us. The article that you helped co-write and produce with Rome J, I think it deserved a little bit more of additional conversation. I know it's been about 3 weeks since you guys posted and published, and we were off air for about 2 weeks. So I wanted to have you guys come and talk a little bit about this. There's a lot to unravel and unpack. But the thing that kind of piqued my interest about this piece in particular is some of the latest, I'm going to say, themes or fads that's happening on social media with the big-time artists soliciting on their social medias to underground unsigned artists these unique opportunities to have your song placed on a playlist or a mixtape on SoundCloud, and it's them with 50 other rappers, and there's nothing special about it. It's just a cash grab, and it seems very it doesn't seem very authentic, or just not genuine, and also kind of shark-like. And so when this piece you guys wrote about 2 Chicago brands, Fake Shore Drive and Andrew Barber, who we're huge fans of, by the way, and then also with Cody Mack over Power 92 running these kind of similar themed contests for hip-hop artists to submit with these prizes to get managerial, marketing, potential airplay, and get support for their careers. But the downside being that they may be signing away a hit record and not even know it. And in the future, they may not have any rights to whatever success that it has because they submitted to this contest. So I wanted to get your thoughts about some of this since you guys did all the research and interviews for this. First of all, is this becoming a theme that you're seeing with these kind of contests, or do you kind of see this as the beginning of something new, a new legal payola as it's referred to in the piece?
Sure, and thanks so much for that summary. But I hadn't really noticed this until I saw these 2 contests. So it was kind of interesting. Combing through Twitter, we saw the Fake Shore Drive announcement, and then I logged onto Instagram and then immediately saw the What's the Buzz Live or What's the Word TV's announcement. So it was kind of like interesting that the timing of it was just like it was the same day. So, when I saw it, I was just like, okay, maybe this is something cool for Chicago, indie artists to take a look at. And, as a team, we just started like peeling back the layers. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys. I don't read the terms and conditions for things. So I can only imagine like people submitting their work are not paying attention to those things. So, and I want to make clear, like, the goal of writing this piece was not to like
deter anyone.
trash it. It wasn't to trash it. It was just merely just trying to like protect Chicago artists. We at the Tribe are all about giving the ownership back to the people, and we're about like reshaping the narrative of Black Chicago. So this just goes in line with what we believe in, which is like giving power, back to the people. So artists, are kind of like vulnerable if they put themselves in a position to submit to this, especially since it's just not like sending a song in. It's you're uploading it to a platform, and then that platform has special terms and conditions that you probably are not going to see in those contest rules.
Yeah,
So.
you guys talked with attorney Edward Wimp, who went through some of the paperwork, and he was like, if it was up to me, I would advise. He's very direct about this. But also, I was talking to, we were talking to Vel the General on Tuesday night, and he kind of responded to like an open, something he saw from Jadakiss' Instagram or social media about an opportunity to work with him. And he did land Jadakiss, like he did an intro for one of his records on his last album. So there was something in return for just him reaching out. And it wasn't a free introduction, but still, it was something significant that he can, show that, they're working together. But it definitely doesn't feel like a lot of these offers, like you mentioned, kind of have some setbacks in tune to it. And I think the thing that stood out to me so much was that even if Mr. Barber or Mac, even if they say like we're going to take all these records, we're going to sort through them, we'll pick the best one, and then the rest of them we may put on social media just to kind of like let people know what we heard or saw. And Sam and I were talking about this before we got on the show in our pre-production meeting, was that even if they don't think that there's value in these songs to them, there may be let's say there's someone from Verizon or from Warner Brothers who's following them and like, yo, that record is hot. This would fit great to what we're doing. And then guess what? This artist now, because they submitted, they agreed to all the legal wording, that they now don't have own rights to whatever potential royalties that may lie in the future. So I think that these contests mean well, but there are also some pitfalls that appear to be in the future that we just don't know yet.
Yeah, and like to your point, one of the contests, Breaker, What's the Word TV is working with the streaming platform Breaker, and in the article when we met up with Edward Wimp and I talked to him, and he was saying like, even within this contract, there's this sub-license thing. Like while the artist is going to retain the rights of that song, they have the ability to sub-license it to a third party. So it's like your song is getting passed through the hands of, like more people, and you're not going to be able to have control over how it's used or, So I think like to your point that also like falls in that same thing. Like it's not even just like, okay, you pay the submission fee and you're just blindly giving your song away. Is some things that we just wanted people to consider, because it was getting like a lot of eyes on it. Like people were tagging artists under the post. So we just want people to like take a second and look at things. And like I said before, this wasn't to trash them or anything like that. We just want people to,
Yeah, so to keep like an even look at the whole thing, because it's really two ecosystems going on. And Mac and Barber in the article, they use their argument to essentially say the artists need this. There's no, they need the exposure. They need eyes on it, whatever it might be, even if you don't win the competition, we post it on social media, all of those things. But there's also an ecosystem that Barber and Mac need to address as well, right? Like that there's eyes and ears that need to be on their stuff, and they need to be up on the hottest and the newest and the best to succeed. So it does undercut their point just a little bit to know that they have an ecosystem that they have to adhere to as well. So I guess my question is, how much would you hold sort of, not to trash them, but there is some accountability there.
Yeah, I feel like when in Rome interviewed Cody and Andrew, so I feel like when I read back on the transcript, I kind of felt that there was like with Andrew, just like the process of it, he's gonna comb like his influence. He has a successful hip hop blog, he manages Valet, so he's very well known in like the hip hop circles here. So I just kind of felt a way, just with him combing through all these submissions. Like he's gonna comb through all these submissions and just narrow it down to like 10 or 20. Like how many is, and he gets to keep them. Like the streaming platform is gonna keep that song. So I'm just like, I don't know if that's like really in the best interest of you, an artist. Like you submit your song and it doesn't get picked. So like what happens to it? And then your submission fee is kept as well. And then I don't think I mentioned, but for the What's the Word contest, it's $50 for a submission, and then for Fake Sure Drive, you have to pay $20 to submit your music. So, I do feel like there should be some accountability, like in just like hearing the conversation with Rome and Andrew. Like I do think his heart is in the right place. I do feel like there's a lot of musicians that, like, I mean, because of the internet, like you're able to get your work out, but is it getting the eyes of the people you want to see? So I do feel like there is a need here to like attract the people you want to attract to listen to your music, but I feel like there is a way you can do it that still the artist is maintaining the rights and the ownership of that music, Yeah. And I feel like we're past the whole like exposure thing, like what?
No, and I think, and the thing though is that, and I can't remember where I read this, but it's like, like if you're, artists are always told invest in yourself, invest in yourself. And is this a form of an investment into your talents? I'm not sure, but if there's 1 or 10 people who are widely affected by this positively and their talents are better exposed, they get a little bit of traction, they become the next Chicago hip hop star, is it worth it? I mean, because we found someone new that we wouldn't otherwise have noticed. I suppose we always have to weigh the pros and cons of these kind of situations. But also I'll credit that Andrew has always been a great source for Chicago hip hop and spotlighting talent for the past decade plus on his Fake Shore Drive. So I think that his name and his brand have a respectability to it, at least from the circles I've been in, that he's never done anything to sour relationships. So maybe there's a
it should be said that both the guys, by all accounts, are really great dudes.
Yeah.
And to Mac's credit, his system is set up so that once they've taken those submissions, they reinvest it into the artists that they pick.
Right.
Which
I was
makes
gonna add that too. It's more, well, not to interrupt you, but it's a little more of a marketing campaign and promotion for the What's the Word. The winning artist gets $5,000. They're gonna get interviews and kind of like help them brand themselves and work on interviewing and stuff like that, and give them some insight into the music industry. And then like with Andrew's contest, it's assisting the winning artist on creating, a project from A to Z. So I mean, those things are attractive, like don't get me wrong, but it's just wondering like the other side of it, these hidden things in the terms and conditions that, everybody is not going to be looking at unless you have an attorney. And I mean, we know that people just coming into the industry are probably not going to have an attorney on hand to look through those things.
That was another question I had. Do you feel that Andrew Barber and Cody Mack have an understanding of those terms and conditions themselves, or do you feel like have been approached by Breaker, they've been approached by whoever to make that their platform of choice, and that they're like, if you told them that, they'd be like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like when we talked to, Cody, it sounded like this is something they've been working on for a while. So the timing of it was just like coincidental. Like
it's like a year ago, right?
Right. He's been working on it for a couple of months. So I feel like, I can't say for certain, but it does feel like these brands approached him. And then like with Andrew, he was talking about how, Pusha T runs X-Wave. So X-Wave is like a new iteration of the tech company Hair. He runs that or Air, I'm sorry, he runs that. So they have a relationship, Pusha T, through, Kanye. So I think that it seems like both of these people were like approached, with this partnership idea. I don't know that and can't say for certain if this was something they like did and created on their own. I think they were approached with this opportunity, but like more so in Cody's case, it sounds like they were really considering this and working on it for a while.
And Gabe brought up, hold up, Gabe. You brought up the point. They always tell the artists to invest in themselves. They never tell Andrew Barber to invest in himself, right? Never tell Andrew Barber to pay $50 to an artist because he really believes in that artist.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And just thinking about the math on that, like, if you get, I don't know, 100 and like his is $20 per, like that's a nice chunk of change or whatever. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I think Cody was like, "Hey, we're putting this back into the service, where I don't think we're so clear about the money management with the Andrew Barber contest, which I suppose we're not. We don't need to be privy to that. I don't think we are obligated to that. I don't know, but I'll say this though: if I was an aspiring hip hop artist, especially in Chicago, especially with the way the field is the way the industry is working out, where if you really want to make a splash, you kind of already have to come pre-packaged. You have to have your following. You have to have a song. You have to have a track record. You have to come pre-prepared. 15, 20, 30 years ago, an A&R would work with you, help build you up, send you over to Europe, do a trash album, learn from that, work it, come back in 5 years, and then you would be ready for that next level. Now all the artists are doing all the work themselves and coming to a label with all this baggage. And so I would feel like if I did all that work and I still wasn't getting the traction that I thought I would need, I would most certainly put up my $20, $50 and be like, and to quote the article, like, why not? What do I have to lose at this point? Because everything else I tried isn't working. So if this Willy Wonka golden ticket shot is the only thing that is left for me, I'm gonna grab it. And I'm not mad at anyone for doing it or for giving it a shot. Because I think that whatever it takes to get to that next level, take advantage of the opportunities. However, it feels like, if someone who's did all that work doesn't get chosen, and then one day wakes up to find their song being played in a Cheerios commercial, I might be a little bit upset.
Right. Right. And then you don't get any of those royalties from it because you signed away some of your rights with that. So that's the thing that's a little scary about it. But I totally agree with your point. Like, you had this kind of like ecosystem in the music industry before where you had someone that was branding you, creating you, making you this artist, and folks just have to be ready already. They have to have the following, like you said, they have to have the personality or whatever. And I can't imagine how challenging that must be now to just
it's hard
to do that on your own, like, yeah, we have the internet and you can just post some videos, but you also have to have something with that. Like, it's not enough to just put the music out there. People are attracted to, they want to see your personality and see what you're like as a person,
And when we were doing Radio 1 Chicago at Loyola, I was there for 5 years, and we would have all these unsigned underground artists come through. And I would always say, like, you guys are the hardest working people I know. Because you're either you have daytime jobs and you're still hustling your dream, or you're doing this full time and you have no idea where your next check or anything's coming from. And it's like that uncertainty would probably drive me crazy or make me really scared. So I admire like the underground independent spirit that a lot of the Chicago artists exhibit regularly on these social media. So if this is what gets them or gives them a shot, listen, it's like risk reward. Like what's the risk of not doing it? What's the reward of doing it? So I don't know.
Yeah. And only time will tell. I'm not like sure when we'll hear more. I know like I keep seeing posts about each one, soliciting for people to enter the contest. So I'm interested to see like what comes out of that for sure. But yeah, that's a good point as well.
Yeah, well, it's a great piece. I'm so glad that you guys followed up on this because I haven't actually seen much of these contests on my timeline, so I must have missed this. So I'm glad you guys were on top of it. We'll put the link up on our social medias at Weekend Gabe, so everyone can check it out and read it for themselves and decide for themselves what they think they would do or should do and tell their friends about it. Tonia, thank you so much for joining us here on the social medias. You can follow her on Twitter at _Tonia Hill. And I imagine that's across all the platforms.
Yeah, on Twitter, that is my username on Twitter, but on Instagram, it is So Journal Truth. So SO. Yeah, I don't know why I can't spell right now, but So Journal. Yeah, I was trying to spell it out of my head, but yeah, So Journal Truth on Instagram. And I also want to plug too, please thetribe.com for more Black Chicago news. And I also want to plug our show, We Real Chicago. It comes on every Thursday at 6 p.m. on YouTube, and you can subscribe at youtube.com/thetribe to find out more about that show. But it's an arts and entertainment show. We're on this will be our 20th episode this week, next week. So yeah, we're really doing it over at the Tribe. But I appreciate you all for reading and asking us to be on the show. Like it's super dope and appreciate it.
We love you guys. You guys do great work. You guys do great work.
Yeah,
you all too.
Shout out to you guys. I couldn't find my shirt, so I just not tonight. Maybe on Tuesday. Maybe on Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah. Let's try Tuesday. Yes, that's okay.
that's our next show. So we'll see. But thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We appreciate your time so much.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Tonia Hill from the Tribe joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. That's going to be our show tonight. We are expecting Mega Ran, the 8-bit MC, to joining us on Tuesday. He has the new memoir that's out there, and we are so looking forward to him joining us. He's fantastic. I've spoken to him maybe 3-4 years ago about his history. He was once a teacher. I think he was working with students with learning disabilities, and he fell into this great he was in the early parts of the book. Describe his influence through pop culture and video games, and which kind of helped develop who he is and getting into hip hop. So I'm really excited. I got to finish reading the book this weekend. So he's expected to join us on Tuesday. So on Tuesday night at 8:00, we're going to do a full hour with him. No other guests. We're going straight through full hour with Mega Ran. So yeah, with our time. So we're going to get the most out of it. He's a fantastic person too. I met him at the comic. It's not Comic-Con. It's the one over at the Harold Washington Culture Center. It's like not Comic-Con. I forget what it's called. But anyways, I met him there about 2 years ago, and he gave me I bought a dope shirt off him. Got like a USB with the Mega Man with all his records on it. And, nice. He was just so generous and so kind with his time and just talking with me at this table. So I'm really excited to have him back on. So Tuesday night is going down here on Weekend at Gabe's with Mega Man. Sam, please plug your upcoming mix shows. When are those going down?
Yes, Wednesdays, Audius.co. Download the Audius app. It's the wave of the future. It's a SoundCloud, but the more you use it, the more you own it. So, why wouldn't you want that? But you can also use SoundCloud if you're a lame. That's cool. SoundCloud is Samuel-CR-Crane, and Audius is just Sam Crane. Follow me on all social media platforms at OP_Savio for the latest, including Twitch, where I do my own show, play video games, and play music. You know what it is.
There you go. I love it, man. Thank you so much for joining the show this week and being part of the show going forward. We got a lot of big plans moving forward, everyone. So please stay tuned. We're back Tuesday night, Weekend at Gabe's. Follow us on Twitter at Weekend Gabe, and have a great weekend. Be safe out there.
That's it. We out.